Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, I'm Stav and this is my husband Mac. And this is She Equips Herself. We do a lot of topics like concealed carry and personal protection. Mac is an excellent firearms instructor, so it's great to have him on the channel just as an extra amazing resource for you guys. And we wanted to let you know that our online courses are actually on sale this week. So we have two online courses. One is the Armed and Confident Academy, which goes all into the basics of firearms and the lifestyle of concealed carry, and gets you comfortable with the idea of carrying and all that goes into that. And then we also have our newest course, which is a live fire course called the Practical Handgun Academy. And there's a bundle where you can get enrolled in both courses at once. And we have a sale going on for Black Friday on our online school. So make sure you check the links below so that you can enroll in the courses, get some really excellent training that you do on your own time. It's really flexible. But today we decided it would be fun to do a Q&A because we haven't done one in a while. So I posted on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook asking you guys for your questions. We have a broad array of topics we're going to talk about, and this might become a two-part Q&A just because we got so many good questions we want to answer. So keep an eye out for part 2. But right now we're going to get started with part 1, answering your questions. Just a note, I'm gonna have timestamps in these videos, so if you wanna skip a topic or skip ahead to a different question, check out the timestamps so that you can do that. So the first question is gonna be about safeties. Your thoughts on guns with a safety button / lever and not. Pros and cons of each.
Okay, so having a safety, I'm presuming that we're talking about a handgun because almost every long gun of every variety has a safety. Handguns sometimes have safeties, sometimes they don't. Some people are very eccentric, or they really want a gun with a safety. They feel it's uncomfortable to have no safety on their handgun. What we should first say is all handguns that are made in the modern era do have some form of safety inside it. So whether it be an actual lever that you're moving or different safeties within the firearm that will make the firearm incapable of being fired if you don't pull the trigger. Now, SIG has kind of ruined that for everybody over the last few years, but almost everybody else gets it right, where if you don't pull the trigger, the gun won't go bang. So don't pull the trigger is a safety. Even if you drop it, things like that, it won't go bang. Having an actual lever on the side of the firearm can be, good or bad depending on a few things. Number one, if someone else grabs, touches, or gets a hold of your gun and they're not well versed in that safety, the idea would be that they can't make that gun fire, or at least it slows them down enough for you to escape if they took your gun from you. So having a safety in that situation is good. The negatives of a safety is that under a high stress situation, you might forget to turn the safety off. So when we talk about safeties, or when I talk about safeties in regards to handguns, in my opinion, having a safety is good and not having a safety is good depending on who you are and what's going on. But if you have a good safety on your firearm, meaning one that is very natural to get to, very easy to put on safe and then on fire, back and forth, does not affect your grip, doesn't screw up the way you're holding the gun, and it's something you train with all the time and you practice with it all the time, then I see zero problem with having a safety on a firearm. If you're the type of person, you have to know yourself, that does not go to the range often and certainly doesn't train with their firearms all the time. You go to the range twice a year, you go to the range maybe 3 times a year. That safety could get you into trouble. So it depends on who you are, how much you do, and basically what type of safety you have as well. This is a 1911. I grabbed the 1911 because I thought this was a perfect example of a great safety. Right now, this lever is on safe. Now when I hold the firearm, my thumb just naturally rests on that safety. If I have a two-handed grip, my thumb just sits on that safety. If I wanted to make it go fire, there, now it's firing. If I want to make it go it's safe, it's right there. You can see that I don't have to move my grip. I don't have to do anything. If I want to shoot, it's on fire. When I don't want to shoot, it's on safe. Now that is a very good safety. I'm going to push it down. That would be fire. that would be safe. And it's a nice big safety. And this particular firearm has an ambidextrous safety, so it's on both sides. If you have a safety like that, you can get to it without adjusting your grip, and it's just super great position. Safeties are great. What happens is a lot of people, or a lot of manufacturers, they throw a safety on there just to try to make people feel good. And you have to do all sorts of weird manipulation in order to make that gun get into the fire mode. When guns are like that, that safety, in my opinion, is bad. At the end of the day, it's up to you, but you have to train accordingly. And if you train correctly, you should be good to go.
What are your thoughts on optics, and why do you choose to carry a gun without one? I have a short answer for this. I don't like things that could go wrong. Like if something requires a battery and my life is counting on that thing to work, I don't feel super comfortable with that. It's another reason why I don't really love stun guns or anything like that. I think that's my main reason.
Yes.
And the bulk of carrying it.
Yes. It would add a tiny bit of weight and a little bit of bulk. It might screw up the way you carry in some of those bags because it would raise the height.
Or even the belly bands.
The belly bands. So there's also, like for me, it's because, and I talked about this in my last video when we were talking about home defense and carry guns. It's not consistent with what I have to carry. So I'm not, still at this point, not allowed to have an optic on my firearm at work. So my eyes go to the front sight. That's where they're trained. That's where they're supposed to be. I haven't gone through the hours upon hours and thousands of rounds of training for me to pick up that dot. Once, or if I ever do that, then I will switch everything. But it's consistency. I can't have one at work, therefore I shouldn't have one off duty. And there's always that potential it could go wrong. And I mean, I'm pretty good up to like 40 yards with a handgun. I mean,
it's really good.
I'm not, let's just be like 25 yards and in really no problem with my current system. And you know, could it be better? It should always be better, but like most gunfights, you're not going to be in a handgun gunfight beyond super 25 yards. So yeah. I mean, as nice as they are and how they are good, I don't know if they're that much of an improvement in a real life, close range self-defense situation.
Transitioning to a raw diet for a dog that is almost 6 years old. So if you guys don't know, we have 2 dogs. They're the cutest. And they're both on a raw diet, which means they eat raw bones, raw meat, raw organs, no kibble or anything. And that's something we started with these 2 dogs. The dogs that we took care of previously were not on this diet, and we wanted to try it out. So far,
oh man,
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
They're so healthy. Their teeth are perfect. Anyway, I did a whole video on that. I'll post it up here in case you guys want to watch why we started the raw diet. But if you're transitioning a dog to the raw diet, I'm going to post a couple YouTube channels down below in the description that you guys can check out that are all about the raw diet and give you a lot of helpful information. I've heard conflicting information about transitioning a dog. Some people say you should do it slowly. Some people say you should do it cold turkey, like stop the kibble and feed them raw because of the way their stomachs digest the different types of food. All I can say is that when we got our dogs, they were both puppies, but they were fed kibble before we got them, and we didn't do the easing them into it thing. There was no weaning off the kibble. I just started them right on the raw diet, and there was a bit of a transition period with their stomachs, like getting used to it. I would give them a probiotic, and that helped get them used to the new food as well. So that's what we did, and that's what worked for us. But do some research, and I would recommend doing it. Don't think that it's too late just because your dog is 6 years old. I see a lot of people in like raw dog food groups on Facebook who have transitioned their older dogs, and now they're doing much better than before. So I'd say the research and the effort is definitely worth it.
If I can add to that, I've had dogs my whole life. My mother always had dogs growing up, and then I had 3 prior to the 2 that you see on film from time to time. And it's an absolute, in my opinion, game changer. I had lots of allergy problems and situations with many of my dogs, and
the dogs had allergies, not you.
Yes,
you weren't allergic.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it had to do with diet, and it's just the health I don't remember owning a dog or having a dog in the house that has like no smell, no bad breath, super shiny fur, perfect teeth, like tons of energy, and their stool goes away like in 3 days.
It turns to dust.
It like your yard will thank you. I mean, when I had 3 dogs in the yard, you know, I can only clean up so often, but like this, it's like if you leave it for 3 days, it's gone. So other than getting to the ones that are in your way, they go away so fast. So I would say definitely try it. I think you'll notice. And I'll add one more thing. When we transitioned Wyatt, he had an odor. He did. He was a stinky boy. He smelled like a dog for like 2 months.
Yeah,
after
we got him.
It took like 2 months to get and we bathed him a few times, like to get the kennel smell out, or the normal dog stink. Yeah, like whatever he was eating, he had a stink.
Yeah.
And now he's perfect. But it took like 2 months for us to like transition him completely off that, and it's well worth it. He's good now.
He's sleeping on the floor. That's
yeah,
why
I keep looking
over.
at him. He's just looking.
Okay, we got a couple questions about that new gun bill in Massachusetts. People are asking, do you think we'd move if it passed? What do you think about the future of the Second Amendment in Massachusetts? So for those of you who don't know, there's this gun bill that they're trying to pass that would basically make it impossible for anybody to carry a gun in Massachusetts.
I think that's a little over dramatic, the top, but yeah, it's definitely going to be problematic.
But there's a lot of problems with it. I don't think we would move, first of all, to answer that question. We can't move.
We can't. I got at least 8 years left, and now. I can't, so that's not an option.
We're staying here.
When I retire, maybe we can move.
Maybe when you retire, yeah.
And we got the boys, so.
I don't know. The future of the Second Amendment in Massachusetts?
Here's what I think.
Are you optimistic?
No, I'm not optimistic, but here's the thing. I think that it could definitely pass, but I also think it's unconstitutional. So let's just say it passes. It passes, then it takes a few years for maybe the Supreme Court or some major court in the land to actually shoot it down and bring it back to reality. But we all have to live under that regime for like 2 years while the courts are fighting it. So thank God the Supreme Court is the way it is right now, and it stinks. It stinks for everybody.
The next question, I wanted to answer this because it gets my blood boiling thinking about this, but it kind of has to do with that previous question. So someone asked, how do you feel about gun control laws that make it harder for women to be able to protect themselves? As a woman, I obviously have a lot of feelings about this.
That's kind of a loaded question though, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Is the law written for women?
No, but these gun control laws affect women and make it harder for us to defend ourselves.
Okay.
That's the way I read it.
All right.
So, yeah, if it was impossible for me to carry a gun and someone this size decided they wanted to victimize me, even if I had self-defense training of some type, unless I was like really, really good, and maybe not even then. He's 6'5" and I'm 5'2". He's basically twice my size. If he decided he wanted to attack me and I had no way to defend myself, I don't think that that's fair.
By the way, just so you can do the math, I'm like 240 pounds and she's like 110. So it wasn't the 6'5", 5'1" that I'm twice her size. That would be a big deal.
Okay, yes, that would be. You're not twice my height. You're twice my size.
10'2", 10'4".
We'd have to get a bigger house.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that even women who support gun control laws, I think they don't understand. I had a discussion recently with a group of women who, we were talking about this exact topic, and they were saying like, people shouldn't be able to have certain guns in their house, all that, but I think that those people are just very uninformed about what's actually happening with these laws, because bad guys will not follow the law no matter what type of laws you put on the books. They will always try to victimize someone who's my size if they can, whether it's with a gun or a knife, and I think that morally it's unfair to take away my ability to defend myself. Anyway. All right, next question.
Greek blood is flowing. Should have done that with either an accent or angry.
Okay, here's a lighter topic.
Oh, good.
Music. What's in your playlist? I know you don't have a... He doesn't have a playlist. What type of music do you like to listen to? What's your jam?
I listen to the radio.
But what kind of music? You listening to jazz?
No, I tried.
We tried jazz. We can't get into it. If you understand jazz, please let us know, because I don't get it.
I guess I could just tell you the most recent songs I listened to on purpose.
I would love to hear.
So I think I looked up Eric Church. You know, I love Eric Church.
We like Eric Church. We saw him in concert.
You know, Dirk Bentley. Some Luke Bryan in there.
I'm getting some country vibes.
Yeah, mostly country, I say. I think those are the last few songs. Oh, Jason Aldean. Those are the last few songs that I actually like played on my phone on purpose. Those are the artists. But yeah, mostly country, I'd say.
Country. I too like country. Though lately I've been listening to a lot of worship music.
I notice in the car.
Like a lot.
Every time.
You put the radio on.
It's always on one of them.
Caleb.
It's always on Caleb.
Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of worship music. It's just what I crave right now.
You gotta answer that.
Okay, someone asked, shower guns.
This is a relative.
Yeah. Shower guns. Winky face. Just kidding, sort of. It is a thing though. So shower guns. Do you take a gun with you into the shower? I would like to say that I do not bring my gun into the shower with me. If you have a way to do that, okay. But I do have a gun accessible while I'm in the shower. That's what I will say. Any thoughts?
I don't. No, I have no thoughts.
How do I get the courage to start going to the range? Gun clubs, yes or no? How can I find a women's gun owner group? I'm very introverted, so it's hard for me. I too am a wicked introvert. I'd say to get the courage to do it, you just have to do it. And I have videos showing like how to go to the range by yourself and things like that. So search on my channel for some tips on that. But I think you just have to do it. If it's important enough to you to get training and to be able to defend yourself, or even if you just want to shoot for fun and that's something you really want to do, you just kind of have to bite the bullet and do it. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. Try not to care about what others are thinking of you. It's kind of, for me, it's kind of like starting to go to the gym. When you start going to the weight room at the gym as a woman, it can be kind of intimidating because there's all these guys and you think they're criticizing your form and this and that. But you just have to focus on why you're there. And unless you're doing something unsafe and someone's trying to help you out, that's different. But just don't worry about what other people think of you.
I'll add one tip. Go on a weekday. When you're new, go on a weekday. It's so, I mean, weekends are crazy at the range compared to weekdays. And when we go shooting, it's generally Monday through Friday, and we're out of there by noon. Because it starts to get busy after noon. So go on a weekday and try to go from when you're allowed to shoot until about noon. And I think that you'll have a much softer situation going on.
Yes, and as far as finding a women's gun owner group, there are usually multiple groups like this in each state depending on where you are. Try the Well Armed Woman's website. They usually have chapters in every single state, so you can probably find one near you or more than one. And if there isn't a group like that, you could always start one. I know a woman who started one here in Massachusetts, a good friend of mine, Pam, and it grew to hundreds of women. So there are other women out there who are probably in the same boat as you are.
Probably a lot more.
Yeah. Protection training and equipment on a budget.
All right, so one of the simplest and easiest way to train for very short money is to buy a pellet gun, a BB gun, or an airsoft gun that mimics the same style of firearm that you actually plan on carrying or having for home defense. We talked about this in the last video, grip angles, sights, things like that, having them match or as closely as possible. The trigger is going to be a disaster. Your BB gun, your airsoft gun, your pellet gun is not going to have even remotely the same trigger as your real firearm, but everything else can be kind of the same. They can fit in the same holsters. You can make targets out of cardboard boxes and you can put newspaper or magazines into the box, and that will generally stop just about any air-powered tool that you have. And you can get comfortable with drawing and moving and acquiring a sight picture and pressing the trigger. There's no noise. There's a lot of real good benefits there. But you do have to step up your training at some point and fire your real weapon. But it's a very good way to get there. You can probably watch YouTube videos and then try them with your airsoft gun or whatever and get to that comfort level where you can get it all done and then go to the range and do a few drills. But
we also show BB and airsoft drills in our online course, the Practical Handgun Academy.
The online course is pretty economical compared to going to schools.
I spent hundreds of dollars going to someone's courses to get a ton of excellent training that you can find in that online course we have. So it was worth it.
Thank you.
The next question is, how do you learn to hunt / find someone willing to teach you? I'd love to learn, but it's a big task and I don't know where to start. We got a few of this type of question about learning how to hunt, and some from women, like learning how to hunt as a woman. So for me, I was lucky enough to have someone who was willing to teach me, and this man has taught me pretty much everything I know about hunting. However, in our state, and I think most states Fish and Game have hunting courses. In our state, we have free hunting courses. So I took the hunter safety course, and then I took the bow hunter education course that were both free through our Massachusetts Fish and Game, which was really helpful and gives you a good start. It's also a good way to meet a possible mentor who can teach you how to hunt, or a lot of the times the instructors will know people who can teach you how to hunt, and there are groups that are usually in every state where you can learn to hunt. I feel like hunters are usually very willing to help other people learn how to hunt because they want it to continue on. Nothing to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it.
Yeah, there are also a lot of really helpful YouTube channels and videos. I read a story this morning about a woman in Massachusetts who just got her first harvest of a white-tailed deer, and she taught herself how to hunt, like through YouTube and reading books and stuff. So it's possible to do it if you have the motivation, but there are usually a lot of people out there who are willing to help you. How are you prepared / trained for a home invasion? Where are your tools? What's your plan if this was to happen in the daytime or if someone broke in at night? There's a lot of questions that were asked about home defense and how we plan for home defense, what we have, etc. We actually made a video a couple years ago on this topic and talked a lot about it, so I'll link that up here. But do you have anything you want to
We've got a lot of
mention?
questions on home defense over the years, and when I used to teach real avidly, home defense was one of the classes I taught, and I always felt like really passionate or strong that like everybody should have a home defense course, because anybody that owns a firearm, you may carry it, you might not, but it's probably in the home. And if you hear that noise or you get scared or something happens, anybody that owns a gun doesn't grab the baseball bat. You know, it's like, where's my 7-iron? Not when you have a shotgun in the, like if you have a shotgun or handgun or whatever, you don't grab the club. So it's really important to have some knowledge on home defense. So I will say, any type of home defense class is a step in the right direction, and understanding ballistics and what bullets go through, and setting up your home so that you're not firing rounds towards your kids' rooms. And like, if you're not thinking about this and planning this out, I mean, you should have fields of fire, like
there's a lot,
old military thing.
Lighting,
yeah. I mean, there's so many things to talk about, but it's probably not something we can answer in a short period of time. But
we do have a home defense ebook that's like $7 that you can purchase, so I'll link that down below. That has a lot of information in it.
Maybe we should take it one step at a time and break down a
Maybe
whole home defense course.
Video.
Yeah. But a quick answer on this one. All your firearms should not always be in one place. We have firearms on every floor of the house. We have multiple different safes. We have what I call reactionary or self-defense safes. And we also have storage safes, and I think that's important. We can get to a quick access safe very quickly with a very easy code.
Yeah. If you have it in your bedroom, but you spend most of your day downstairs in the living room or whatever, it's like you need to think about where you have them and where you spend the most time. Hi, Stav. What recommendation do you have for Bible study for someone who is a believer but wanting to grow in their faith? What study tools do you use and recommend? Do you have a routine you follow for alone time with God? So something I started doing recently is before I even look at my phone in the morning, I try to read my Bible, even just for a few minutes, and I've made that a routine. It was something that I kind of struggled with over the years, but this last year I've really made it a habit where I don't look at anything going on in my phone, not even my emails or anything, before I read the Bible. So having that simple routine has been extremely helpful in my understanding and desire to read the Bible. And then when I read it, I use different resources to understand it. So I can link some stuff below. I'll call the title Bible resources and you can look at stuff, but like there's a lot of good websites, like Blue Letter Bible helps you to break down each word in the original language it was in. There's a lot of good books and commentaries out there, so I'll link some stuff below. Okay, so if you're a believer and you want to grow in your faith, the number one thing that you can do is read your Bible. And I know that that sounds like people have probably told you that over and over, but until you start doing it and making it a habit, it's not gonna stick. I mentioned this in my Bible 101 video where I talked more in depth about the Bible, that if you don't really feel the desire to read your Bible, pray for God to give you the desire, and He will. And the more you do it, the more you'll want to know. I don't recommend just opening your Bible and reading like a random passage that day. Even like the verse of the day that you get in your phone, that's not, I mean, it's good, but if you're trying to dive into the Bible, you want to start with one book. Like the Bible is 66 books. Pick a book in the New Testament and just read through the whole thing. Some of them are extremely short. You could read one book in like 5 minutes. So pick a book, read through the whole thing, then pick another book, read through the whole thing, and that's how you're gonna really understand the Bible as a whole and really have the desire to read more of it. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for part 1 of our Q&A. We have a lot more questions we're gonna be answering in part 2, so keep an eye out for that. And don't forget that our online courses are on sale until the end of Black Friday, which will be Saturday morning of this week. So check the links below so you don't miss the discounts that will allow you to enroll in our courses. It's a lifetime enrollment, so any updates or changes we make to the courses, you'll be able to access those as well. Check the links below, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay safe. Bye.